Hey, Nadia.
Hello.
I'm excited to talk today about something that I've been watching. I've been on my Instagram a lot lately, actually. But
Same.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot. I had to put a time limit on my Instagram that I
yeah.
ignore every time, but it's just I don't know, something something needs to change, but one step at a time.
Well, there's been some good stuff on. And in addition to the kind of mind junk that I've been watching, I've been really enjoying seeing the Winter Olympics coverage.
Yeah. We talked about Lindsey Vonn, but lots of really fun things have happened in the meantime, yeah. In
Yeah,
between the
since
last
then.
time and
Yeah, since
then.
then. Okay. What is on your feed? What have you been seeing a lot of for the Winter Olympics?
Well, there's one main thing, but I've been seeing a lot of hockey things recently because I feel like Northeastern's a pretty big hockey school. And I mean, it is. It's not, I think it is. And there was a bunch of girls, or at least 4 girls, I think, 4 or 5 girls who were former Northeastern women's hockey players that were on the US team. And some were on like the Swiss team, which is pretty awesome because the US won gold and Sweden, Switzerland 1/3. So I've been seeing a lot of that, and then the men's hockey team also won, which hasn't been that way in a while, which is really cool. So I've been seeing a lot of that recently because those games happened within the last few days. But mainly I've been seeing a lot of ice skating, and I feel like you have too. But I mean, I don't really watch ice skating apart from the Olympics. Yeah. I don't.
In
You do,
your
but
lifetime, there hasn't been a lot of good,
ice
really big
skaters.
coverage on ice
Mhm.
skating. But when I was in your age and in high school, there
Mm.
were some pretty amazing ice skaters that I can't remember the names of right now. But I remember Christy Yamaguchi because she's local and she did really, really well. And now I can't remember all the names of all the other Olympians
Yeah.
that I super actually liked. Michelle Kwan, and then there was the one that was a gymnast and then became an ice skater. Anyway, yes, I have been really enjoying the ice skating coverage because didn't know anything about these Olympians going in. But to
Right.
be honest, at first glance when seeing the coverage, they looked so different. The current US
Yeah.
team for figure skating is
Yeah, they
so
do.
different in vibe and style than what I
Mhm.
remember from 20 years ago, which was a little bit
Right.
more controlled, sophisticated ice skater. And now they seem a little bit fun and edgy, and I was like, wow,
Well,
that's really
still
cool.
cool, still sophisticated. Wouldn't, say they just have taken on, their or put in their own personalities into ice skating, which I think is really cool. But, yeah, I don't really know very many ice skaters, haven't really watched it. It's only, big I mean, I don't know, I recognize the names that you said, but not really, and the only, big story that I know is, Tanya Harding, but even then, I don't really know what happened there. But yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of Alyssa Liu, I think that's how you say her name. But yeah, it's just been really cool, and she's from the Bay Area also, which is awesome. She's my age, but I think what mainly I mean, obviously she's kind of trending on social media, especially within my For You page. But firstly, because she's using I can't Leve, I think that's how you say her name. The Leve song, Promise, which I really like that song. But also, personally, really like it because there's a lot of stuff about how she was really good when she was 16 and then she retired and took a break because I'm not sure the full story, but she retired at such a young age and then came back to the sport on her own terms. I feel like, I mean, not to the same extent, but is something that Ira's. I feel like it's pretty prominent in the gymnastics community, those feelings. So a lot of gymnasts can, and probably dancers too, can relate to that. But yeah, it's just been really cool to see. And then she won gold, which is super awesome.
Yeah, so okay, wait, you don't know the whole story? I don't know. I feel like I've been seeing the story on my end, which is like
I mean, I know
she's one of
her
she's one
family
of 5
story. Yeah.
kids. Yeah, like her
Mhm.
dad came here from China and he had 5 children with surrogate moms and basically like, kind of like helped her financially or whatever, supporting her to this point where she was training. And she was apparently like really, really good at age 13 and was a
Mm.
phenom and won, I don't know, some sort of huge championship. And then by 16, which was, 4 years ago, he decided to retire. And then she went on and did some fun stuff, went to college, did some hiking, Mount Everest. I
She
know nothing about how,
dances.
yeah, she dances and then she decided she wanted to come back and apparently her coaches were like, "No, you can't come back. You're too old." And she's like, "I'm not old. I'm 18." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And she basically said like, "I want to come back into this and really go for it if." And then she named her terms and then
Mhm.
she got to kind of do it her own way. And
Yeah.
I think actually this is a really pertinent topic because just this weekend I did a talk at ODC Dance Commons, which is like a
Mhm.
dance studio in San Francisco. They have this like month for dancers' health. And I did a talk with a physical therapy student. Our topic was dancing through the lifetime. And like, what are some things that you need to think about when
Mhm.
you're dancing or teaching dancers who are pre puberty and then adolescent and then young adults and
Mhm.
older adults and like what are some things to think about at all these different ages. And when we were talking, I was responsible for the young and the adolescent and my focus was it was physical therapy stuff, like leg alignment, not forcing turnout and things like that, but also like the importance of this being a really critical time for somebody's
Mhm.
emotional mental health and like
Yeah.
forming their sense of self. And when you're young and do something like ice skating, gymnastics, and dance, which
Mhm.
has been like historically, you excel at a pretty young age and you
Yeah.
peak at a really young age. That means that you go into this really rigorous training, which
Mhm.
requires lots and lots of hours, really young. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, this becomes the main thing that you do, your entire identity.
Mm.
You're training over 20 hours a week. So you don't have time for other things. You don't get to
Yeah.
like hang out with friends as much. Your only friends are the ones at gym or studio. You are known as being the ice skater, the gymnast, the dancer, whatever.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so it's like a really heavy load to carry at a really young age. And so I don't know, you can talk a little bit about that. Like, do you relate to that feeling or like, was it
Yeah,
not that serious for
totally.
you?
Totally. I mean, even if it wasn't that serious, like, even if I didn't take it as serious as other people were taking it, that was definitely like my reality. Whether or not, like, that, and that's what I chose. I could have quit at any time, but I felt like some sort of, well, I wanted to obviously continue throughout high school and stuff, but there was some sort of like underlying thing that was like, you need to just stay, like they want you to stay, and like quitting is like failing, like all that kind of stuff. But
Who's they? Was it me and your dad? Was it your
no,
coaches? Was
no,
it
no. I mean, just like in general. But yeah, I feel like it definitely like shapes who you are when you're growing up. And I mean, you don't know anything else. Like that is how I spent the majority of my free time every single day and on the weekends. It's not like just like a one season sport. It's all year round. So it's, you can't really escape it. And I think I held and kind of still hold a lot of resentment towards that, even though it was my choice to stay.
what do you
It
resent
also
that
has
you missed
brought
out on
me,
some stuff?
yeah. I mean, I missed out on a lot of things. There were so many different things I could have experienced elementary school through high school that I didn't because I had other responsibilities. And, I think I've talked about before all the things that gymnastics has taught me in life, but I wish I had experienced other things or tried other things, my whole life. And still now, like, they people know me as, like, or not the one thing they know me as, but they know I do gymnastics. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's the resentment of, like, what could have been, but I did really in the end, like, overall, I really enjoyed it, and made majority for, like, the people that I met and my teammates, the community that I had, like, especially the community. And I think, like, just this past week, I got dinner with 2 of my old teammates from, like, club gymnastics in high school. And, like, the things that we experienced, not that any of it was, like, super, super crazy, but at the time, it felt like things were happening at practice and, like, we were doing all these crazy things, but we still talk about it, and it still feels fresh. Like, I feel like when I talk about it, I'm like, I just experienced it the day before. There are certain songs that I can't listen to because, like, when I listen to them, it feels like I'm at practice, and, like, it's just such a weird feeling, and I know a lot of people relate to that, and so when I came into college gymnastics, even though at first I didn't really want to do it, like, I wanted to go back in on my own terms and, like, kind of rewrite whatever, like, what I had experienced in high school, whether that was because of coaches or just, like, my own, like, mental stuff. But, yeah, and I don't know, even with, like, my teammates now on the Northeastern team, like, we'll talk about all the things that we had to do that we thought were normal, or like when in middle school and high school at practice. And it's just like it's a bonding thing, but it's also like, all those girls are there to also rewrite that and kind of like put better memories over like the bad ones.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, sometimes like we talk about this like on vacations.
Mhm.
That like sometimes the most tragic or not tragic, but the most difficult things that happen to us when we're on our summer vacations or like family vacations are the ones that we look back on and laugh at, like
Mhm.
it's like, yes, there were some difficult times, but those are the ones that are special and then you bond with people over it.
Yeah.
And same with like when you did gymnastics and then when you took your first semester in Greece and there were some difficult times where you got tear gassed and food
Mhm.
poisoning and all that.
Yeah.
And it's like, thank goodness it's like, I don't know, it's like the spice of life. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah,
not that you
totally.
want that bad stuff, but then when you
Mm.
get past it and you can look back at it and like bond with other people about it, it's just
Yeah.
like so good.
Yeah, it's all awesome, and I feel like it makes me emotional watching Alyssa Liu because it's like she already was so good. There wasn't really much more for her to accomplish, and then she just now everything that she's doing is just like a cherry on top. And what like everything that I'm doing is at a way, way, way like smaller scale, but it feels like that too. Like I feel like the things I'm doing are like what I was doing at the age of like 13. I don't know, all the accomplishments or all the meets that I go to, all the like hit routines and all of that is just like, cherry on top type situation. Like I'm not really expecting anything anymore. It's just like I'm just there for fun. But yeah, I mean, not to say that club gymnastics in high school wasn't fun, but there's a lot like it was a lot more intense and there's just a lot of pressure on you. With like even if the
Yeah.
coaches mean to or not, which
I mean,
usually they do, but
there's definitely a level of intensity,
Mhm.
because first of all, that's 20 hours a week and then
Yeah.
some, which means that you're in school all day and you have a little tiny break and then you're in gymnastics for several hours and then you have to do homework and you go to sleep and you do it over again. Like to
Yeah,
live
it's crazy.
like that level of like intensity of like just always basically working is rough. Then on top of that, the actual nature of what you're doing is dangerous. Like you're
Yeah.
like pushing your body physically, like just like strength wise, but also physically, like physics wise, like you're
Yeah.
asking a little kid to concentrate on a specific technique that if they do
Mhm.
right, like they're not going to land on their head. And so
Right,
there's
right.
like a level of intensity there. Like it's like you're
Mhm.
bungee jumping every every day.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's the pressure of competitions and the pressure of wanting to keep up your skills so that you don't fall behind like your teammates,
Mhm.
because if you fall behind, then your teammates are going to move on and competing a higher level than you, and you won't see them anymore. So your friend group gets like switched to a different level and you're
Yeah.
stuck wherever you are.
Yeah.
And you have in the back of your mind this idea that you want to do college gymnastics, which means
Mhm.
you're time limited. You need to get to the
Yeah.
highest level of competition by age 15 at the latest so that you can get recruited.
Earlier.
I mean, for sure earlier, but I said 15 at the latest. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're expected to be level 10 by age 13 so that you can like basically be in level 10 all through high school so that you can get seen and get better and then get recruited for a college team. And that's in a child's mind, that's like it's like this big job that they have and the pressure's
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, oh, it's a lot. I can't really believe that is how I spent my days. I literally like sat through school and like based off of how my school day went, I would be like, okay, this is how my practice is gonna go. Like I don't know, the way like I didn't even think like the school part wasn't the main part of my day. It was practice at the end of the day. Just like, and I'm waking up early and going to bed late because I have to wake up early for school, but then I have homework that I can't do any other time but after practice. And I like don't have, it's just crazy. I don't really know. I mean, I guess that maybe shows why I need a busy schedule because that's how I function. But yeah, I don't know. And yeah, for not
Do
even
you
being that good.
well, that's not necessarily true. I was going to ask another question, but let's go back on the not being that good. Like you're thinking you're not that good
Well, okay,
because
like, I mean, like, I was good. I made it to level 9, which is awesome, and it's a great accomplishment. But, like, my actual gymnastics was not the best. And I can say that. Like, I don't think anyone was like, wow, Nadia, you're so good. Like, make it far. Like, nobody really was saying that because that wasn't the truth. But I was doing it and having fun doing it. So it was just like, why don't we just let her just do her thing? You know, maybe without even meaning it, I feel like my coaches took on that as well. But I mean, it made it more enjoyable for me, but I wasn't like the best by
well,
any
you
means.
can't even get to the level that you're at if you didn't have some sort of skill. Now,
Right, right.
you at level 9 compared to other people at level 9, maybe it wasn't as good, but you did make it to Western, so there's that, you know.
Yeah,
But
I mean, like,
there
yeah.
you were good in the grand scheme of all human population doing gymnastics. You were good. In the very small percentage of people that actually make it to level 9, you were like
Well, yeah,
not
obviously.
cream of
Right. I mean, I'm not saying like out of everyone that does gymnastics ever, but you know, that's just me saying like I was never doing it because I was really good at it. I was always doing it because I wanted to find the fun in it. And then I didn't find the fun in it until I ended senior year and then, you know, then started up again. I mean, I don't know. The last couple of years of gymnastics were hard because I knew I wasn't gonna make it to college. And that's probably like that's usually when people quit. That's like when, you know, you have your Alyssa Liu retirement. And it's like when you make it when you're 16 and you don't want to do anymore, you want to do other fun things. But I don't know, somehow I stuck through it. And
yeah,
now
it could
here
have been
we
the
are.
timing of the pandemic could have gone either way for you. You're like, pandemic, we can't practice, blah, blah, blah. It's over. Let me just go do some other things.
Yeah.
Or you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to start something new. These are my only people that I'm this is like my small cohort of people that I'm getting to hang out with. What was it called again when you had like little groups of people that you would hang out with during the pandemic? There was a name for that.
A
Like,
cohort? You
no, it
said
wasn't
it.
cohort. No, it was like whatever. It's that little group of people that you're like willing to take masks off with. I can't remember what it's called anymore. But anyway, yeah, you had that group of people. And, you know, I have this friend from high school. I guess I can name her. She's probably not going to hear it. But she said something nice. I have this friend from high school, Marga, and she would joke about how either like, and I might be misquoting her, but she was like, she would joke about how she was like not passionate about any particular thing, or she would say, Alyssa, you're so lucky that you're like, you had this thing that you liked doing. So I'm saying that to say, like, you're so lucky that you have this thing that you did. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah, totally.
a thing.
I never feel like I never should have done gymnastics or that there's no point in me doing it. Like, I always feel really grateful for the sport and for specifically the community the sport has given me. I mean, I don't know. It's a crazy thing. And I think, like, I mean, obviously I'll carry that with me for a while. It's good. It's almost kind of silly how close you get with, like, the girls you do gymnastics with, even though most of the time you're complaining about it. But, like, I don't know. It is nice to have a thing.
What is it like seeing your sister come back to gymnastics?
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I'm glad she's doing it and having fun. I mean, I really am enjoying being with the new girls on the team, like I said last time. So it's just been like, it's been fun for me to watch, but also like to get to know the rest of them.
Yeah, because her story is a little bit different. Like you finished gymnastics because you finished high school and you weren't going to do college gymnastics. And then you tried out for club gymnastics, which you never thought you were going to do. And then you're
Mhm.
like, maybe I'm not going to make it, or hopefully I don't even get asked to like compete or whatever. Then you got,
They bring up all the time, or they use the girls that have graduated used to bring up how I put that I wanted to be semi-competitive on the paper. I said I don't want to compete or like non-competitive. I wanted to be non-competitive, and then they made me competitive anyways. And I was like, okay, I guess so. But yeah, I really didn't want it, and I'm so glad I did it now. But I really didn't want to do it.
and then
It's just
Lucy's
so I
story
was
was
so
different
traumatized.
from
Yeah,
previous. Yeah, Lucy's story
yeah,
is different because she stopped doing gymnastics in the middle of high school. Like she didn't have to,
yeah,
but she chose to not. And so
yeah,
it's interesting for her to choose to go back to it now. And I have to say, as a mom, I like selfishly,
yeah.
not selfish, I don't know. I am so glad that you guys are back in gymnastics. As a mom of a kid that's doing a sport that's super intense,
Mm,
and also you guys very much know how much I love the sport of gymnastics. I couldn't help but feel like a sense of like, how much am I pressuring them? How much are they like, am I forcing them to do this? And so for
mm,
you guys to go back and do it again, like on your own and then like it is
mm.
so happy and refreshing to me. I'm happy for you, but I'm also like happy for me. I'm not rewriting the story, but like I'm happy that you guys are rewriting the story. Also feeling like a little bit, I don't know. Like I'm like, okay, thank God they chose to do it and they're
She's
feeling good
feeling
about it.
guilty. Yeah, I know I'm thinking about it, like, Lucy's story is a little more like that. And she did not necessarily end on her own terms either, and I think that also made it hard for me to end, because I wasn't, like, on the best terms with gymnastics in general, which is why I was so anti doing anything in college, because it just, like, I made it to Westerns, but, like, everything else felt like it ended off on a weird note. So, I don't know, but I'm glad now, that everything has turned out the way that it has. And, I'm not necessarily putting a lot of pressure on the rest of this last season, because like I've already done everything that I wanted to do, even like in the last month and a half, but like also in the last 3 years of being on the team. So yeah, it's just fun.
I don't know how much you've like going back to the Olympics. I don't know how much you've seen of Eileen Gu and her like quotes and stuff, but
Yeah.
she has had some moments and very interesting interviews. One of them, she kind of puts down like a reporter because he's like, "Do
Yeah.
you feel
He's
like,
asking about her medals.
yeah, like, do you feel like you
Yeah.
lost two golds or do you feel like you gained two silvers?" And she's just like kind of like laughing at him. But today, a college friend of mine sent a video of her and it was really cool. And I'll send it to you later. And maybe we'll put on the show notes for this. But it's basically she's talking about how the mind works and how
Mm.
you can basically feel however you want to feel. Like it's like, I don't know, I'm misquoting her, but the thing that I remember the most was she's like, I think about my 8-year-old self and my 8-year-old self would be so impressed by me. She was like, I'm so
Yeah.
happy
Yeah.
that my 8-year-old self would be so impressed by where I am right now.
Yeah.
So it's
No,
kind of,
totally.
yeah.
I have had those thoughts recently too, like thinking how like I would look at myself now like myself in elementary school, how I would look at myself now. And yeah, I mean, it makes you feel good about yourself. It's kind of like a little hype up moment, ego boost. But I don't know
You know what's
how
interesting
to do
though?
that.
Like, I think, I'm so happy for you and where you are in school and in your sport and just as a human. And it's funny that you think that your 8-year-old self would look at you now and think, oh, this is so great. It's almost like you're thinking that your 8-year-old self wasn't sure that you would be here. And I never had any doubt that you would be in a place like you are right now, which is in a really good place. And so
Yeah.
I guess like,
I mean,
you
it's
know,
like it's in the I mean, this is how I feel about, like, look ahead 20 years. Like, I can't really imagine what my life's gonna look like now. Maybe you have a better idea of what it might look like because you've experienced those years in your life. But, like, it's easier to look back than it is to look forward. And yeah, I would not say that 8-year-old me thought I would be where I am now. I don't even know if she had full thoughts. Like, I don't know what she was thinking, but I don't think she would know that I'm in the position I
yeah.
am now.
It's kind of a little bit sad though, like that, the kid is so worried about their future, but I guess that's kind of what
I don't
drives
think
you.
all kids are that worried. I think it was me. But yeah, it is sad. But I think, it adds to the, innocence of being a kid. And that's something that I brought up in the beginning of the year of like wanting to be a little more whimsical. And I guess in a sense that means more childlike because I miss like being a little bit more innocent like that and not
Mhm.
really knowing what to expect. But probably for
Yeah,
the best that
and
it's
like
not that way anymore.
yeah. Yeah, there's imaginary, whimsical, knowing not every kid gets to grow up knowing that everything is gonna be okay, but, like,
Mm,
I think, for the most part, you had housing and food and stuff, so
yeah.
your worries included, like, these bigger things, but anyway, I don't know, I'm going on the tangent, but I'm glad that you are feeling a little bit, like, grateful for where you are and also, like, interested in being a little bit lighter and more whimsical. I hope that happens for you
Uh-huh.
this year.
Me
I'm
too.
slightly like, "Is this really gonna happen?" Because you can be
Mhm.
quite pensive and emotional, but I guess if you
Still
look
be
at it.
whimsical.
Okay, well, I guess you kind of hard to be whimsical when you're studying for your MCATs, but good luck studying tonight. Hope you get some
Thanks.
childlike innocence while you're studying.
Probably gonna go to sleep instead, but yeah, I'll try.
All right. Well, nice talking to you. Hopefully, I'm hoping we get an interviewee next week. I think we have one.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Right. Bye,
Bye.
guys.